welcome to Paradigms at paradigms.life, the radio show and podcast that brings you inspiring people with visions of a viable future for life on Earth that includes humans. Hi, I'm Baruch, host of Paradigms. Thanks for tuning in. We've got some wonderful guests on this episode, 6 women who are part of a jazz orchestra celebrating its 30th anniversary. And we're going to talk with them about the new record they've just released and about this wonderful jazz orchestra and a few other things as well. So let us now meet my guests on this episode of Paradigms. Diva Jazz Orchestra, some of the players, welcome. We've got Sherrie Maricle, Noriko Ueda, Jennifer Krupa, and Scheila Gonzalez. Welcome to Paradigms.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have the 4 of you here with me today. And Sherrie, nice to see you again. We had you on the show about a year ago, and that was really great. But you all have just released this fantastic record, the 30th anniversary of the Diva Jazz Orchestra. And it's just a wonderful record. It's a live recording from Lincoln Center, and I just listened to it and had a great time. So welcome and congratulations on 30 years.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to ask a few questions and talk about the music and stuff. And we're also welcoming Kellin Hanas, who is one of the orchestra members.
Hey, Kellin.
Hi, Kellin.
Oh, of course. Hi. Nice to meet you.
So glad that you're here. Just beginning to talk about this wonderful 30th anniversary record and the concerts that created it. Obviously, you haven't all been in the orchestra for 30 years because some of you would have had to be, embryos when you started.
Or less.
Yeah, but I'm really interested just in how the orchestra is going and the ins and outs of people coming and going and just how's that all going? And then let's talk about the record and individual stuff.
Well, I guess I'll start with that since I'm kind of at the helm for the last 30 plus years. But, we've been really, really lucky to have a solid core of musicians who have been with us over 25 years. I think Jen and Scheila, right, and Noriko, and a lot of people have been in the band forever. And we're lucky to have one of the newest members, Kellin, who just turned 21 last year. All right, so she's one of our newest members. And one of the great things about having a big band for so many years is you do find or discover or are made aware of amazing talent everywhere and how safe the music is. The tradition of jazz is safe in the hands of some young people. So that makes me feel happy, like Kellin.
Well, I would love it if you would each introduce yourself a little bit and just say what instrument you play and just a little tiny bit of your story.
My name is Scheila Gonzalez. I'm a saxophonist, and I first played with the Diva Jazz Orchestra in 2000. So it's coming up on 24 years here, which is unbelievable. And I came in as a second tenor player with the band, and I've played lead tenor. I think I played Barry one time in Columbia. I sat on the Barry chair in Columbia, but no, I don't think I played Barry in the band. I played second alto as well. And it's been quite an adventure. I played with Diva from 2000 to 2007. Then I was involved in some other touring things, which took me, my availability made it a lot less. So I've been away for a while, but Sherrie always calls for me to come in and sub and play with the band. And I've had the pleasure of coming back over the last few years and being around and being a part of this, especially this last record. So it's been a real honor to be a part of this thing with all these amazing women and Sherrie at the helm, of course. I'm just grateful for the opportunity to play with these incredible musicians. It was kind of an accident that I wound up on the bandstand. We did a battle of the bands. The LA band that I mentioned is Ann Patterson's Maiden Voyage, an all-female big band out of LA. And Diva was out on the West Coast, and we both had the opportunity to play. And I sat next to a friend of mine, wonderful saxophonist, Sherrie Maricle, and she was playing tenor at the time. I was playing alto. And a lot of people confuse us with our voices or with our looks. And in the end, when Diva was looking for a second tenor player to fill the chair as a sub initially back in 2000, Jami had subbed with the Maiden Voyage, and Stanley was asking about the woman on tenor, the Latina-looking woman. And I think that because it was the tenor chair, Jami, correct me if I'm wrong, said, "Oh, Sharon," or "Oh, Scheila." And
Scheila.
somewhere between the two, it got confused, and I wound up getting the call. I think the intention was originally for Sharon because they were looking for a tenor player, but I wound up getting the call, and Sharon couldn't have done the diva gigs after all, and the rest is history. I wound up getting to play with the band by a little mix-up of names, and I've been able to reap the benefits of that hilarious little mix-up at the outset, and I'm so glad because I'm grateful for Sherrie and everyone here and everyone that's been in the band over the past 23 years that I've had the opportunity to play with them.
You know, Sheila's got, like everybody here, it's not just the great, extraordinary musical artistry and creativity, but the stage presence, the performance etiquette and understanding, and just the great vibes that people bring to the bandstand is really important to me too. Very important. And Scheila, everybody here has all of that goodness going on.
And we're welcoming Jami Dauber also.
Hi, James.
Hi.
And Jami, everyone's taking a couple minutes to just tell a little bit their story.
Okay, yeah, so I introduce myself. My name is Noriko Ueda. So I joined the band. I think it's around the same time as Scheila. I believe it's around 2000. So it's been almost 24 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. So besides I'm playing, I'm writing quite a few arrangements for the band, and it's really has been pleasure and fun. And it's just, 24 years. Oh my God, it's a long journey, but also it feels really short. And I'm so grateful with to be in this band and to build this friendship. And it's just fun thing. Yeah, just I hope it's gonna keep going forever.
And you play the bass.
Yes.
And Noriko is one of the very best, most prolific composers and arrangers I know. She's like the first people always right on the top of the list. She's a genius writer, so creative. And she's also part of the superstar band Artemis. And they're very lucky to have her too.
Oh, thank you, Sherrie.
Welcome. Welcome.
Who's next?
I'll go next. I first played with the band in '98. And my first gig was actually on bass trombone, and I do not claim to be a bass trombonist, nor have I ever played the book again, because it is a beast of a book. I've played off and on, and then became a regular member, and then joined the Navy Commodores and moved to DC. And I have been very fortunate to make as many gigs as possible with Diva when it doesn't conflict with my other schedule. So that's been fabulous. Yeah, I remember I lived in Florida before moving to New York and having the first gig with Diva. And I met Stanley Kay. He was at a gig that I was at, and he told me all about Diva. It was the formative, like Diva was just started and it hadn't even had the first concert yet. And I remember him telling me all about this band of amazing women musicians up in New York, and I should be looking out for it. And if I ever come up to New York, let them know. And then lo and behold, yeah, full circle. So it was pretty amazing just to play with all these amazing musicians, and it's such a great network and family, and you feel supported and you feel challenged, and I wouldn't give it up for anything.
Jennifer Krupa, distant cousin to Jean Krupa.
Little 21-year-old.
Yeah, hi. my name is Kellin Hanas. I play trumpet. I started playing with Diva last year, so I'm a major newbie. I turned 21 on this tour with Diva at the beginning of this calendar year with the Manhattan Transfer. So I've kind of gotten this tour with Diva the past year or so is like the first time that I've ever toured. And yeah, I've had like a lot of like first experiences with this band. It's just so cool to like be able to play with all of you, because when I was in middle school, I remember my band director being like, there's this band called Diva, maybe you'll play with them one day. And it's just such a bucket list moment for me, and Diva's kind of the pinnacle of we want to be in this band so bad. And we kind of talk about the band as like, oh, so and so's playing with Diva, like, do they know about you, are they going to call you, so it's been like really an honor to be able to these ladies, I love all of them, and all of the other women in the band are amazing too. And yeah, it's just been such a great learning experience for me. And I'm a current senior at the Manhattan School of Music, so that's what I'm up to otherwise. But yeah, love Diva, so grateful.
I'm talking with members of the Diva Jazz Orchestra: Sherrie Maricle, Jennifer Krupa, Jami Dauber, Noriko Ueda, Scheila Gonzalez, and Kellin Hanas. We'll be back with more conversation with these 6 wonderful women. But let's hear some music from the new record, Diva Jazz Orchestra 30. This is In a Mellow Tone, Diva Jazz Orchestra. You're listening to Paradigms at paradigms.life.
Dauber playing the trumpet. Jen Krupa playing the trombone.
In a mellow tone. Love that music. Diva Jazz Orchestra celebrating their 30th anniversary. All right, let's get back now to my conversation with Sherrie, Jennifer, Jami, Noriko, Scheila, and Kellin. Jami.
Hi. So what was the question? I'm sorry.
Just tell me a little bit of your story and your story with Diva.
With Diva. Okay. Well, I moved to New York in the fall of 1994. I know that's ancient times to you, Kellin. I moved here and then I was actually on a tour for a month, and on our day off, we were in New York, the New York area, and Diva was playing at Tavern on the Green, and they needed a trumpet sub, and I had a friend from college who was in the band, and so she recommended me, so I got to play with Diva. Actually, it was on my birthday in November, and I was blown away by all of these amazing women. I had no idea that there were other women out there that could play. Like, it was really mind-blowing. And then the following January, when I was back from being on the road, Diva had a rehearsal, and so I was at the rehearsal, and then that's when Stanley Kay, the founder of the band, asked me if I'd like to join the band. And I was like, oh yeah, thank you. I was so honored. So that was 29 years ago. Yeah.
So cool.
Yeah.
And Jami also spent a lot of time, many years, doing a lot of behind the scene work, from road manager to stage manager to manager. She's played lead. She's played every chair in the trumpet section as well. And just, yeah, she's been like a, I don't know, gold standard godsend to us.
I interview a lot of musicians, obviously, for this show, and a lot of jazz musicians. And most of the time, these bands are all guys. And, you know, they'll talk about, yeah, me and the guys. And I'm so happy to talk with all of you who are part of an all-women orchestra. And I want to ask, what's different about playing with all women than playing with men?
Well, I'm going to have to give you my standard answer. It's exactly the same, except without penises.
Okay.
Well, you know, it's like the thing I said, if the vibes are good and the musicianship is good and you're there to elevate the music, and you care about the band and not yourself, not about my solo, especially in jazz. If you care about the sound of the band and you bring good vibes to the stage, it's always going to be great, I think. And it can be men or women. There's unhappy people trying to get on stage with you many times. And, you know, and having the skill set too to play in a large ensemble or a big band is a different set of skills than being a great soloist. So regardless of gender, those things are the biggest points to me. What do you think, everybody?
Well, that's just it. You know, I was always playing the only girl in an all men ensemble, male ensemble, and comfortable with that because that's how I came up. That's how it was in school. That's how it was. That's how it is oftentimes still. And I remember I did my first gig with another all-female jazz ensemble that was on the West Coast. And I thought, oh my gosh, what's it going to be like? You know, what are we going to talk about? What's even going to happen? I'm used to hanging with the guys, you know, and same with Diva on my first Diva gig. What's this going to be like? I'm used to hanging with the guys, traveling and touring with the dudes. And this is going to be a completely different experience. And nope. Same humor, same camaraderie, same, you know, standard of excellence, same hang. Just, you know, there were just different idiosyncrasies maybe here and there between, quote, male and female sensibilities just on a social. But you know what, even socially, we're all musicians. We're all hanging, just a bunch of cats that put the music first and have integrity about their playing and performance. And as long as Sherrie said, there's no jerks on the stand and everybody's there with the skill set and the appropriate attitude, same thing, same hang. We're all just musicians doing the thing.
Our lead trumpet player, Lisa Whitaker, she was starting a book with quotes in it, and it's called Things You Don't Hear on the Count Basie Band. Funny things that, you know, probably you wouldn't hear a bunch of guys saying that sometimes women talk about. But I can't tell you those. You have to buy the book.
Right. Okay. You both made an interesting point that I'm sure you probably all feel, which is it's about the shared experience and the sort of the common good of the music. It's not about the individual taking up space and the personal ego. And that's a thing people have to, or most people at least, have to learn to come to. That's a developmental piece as a human, And so I'm really interested in how that flows, or if anyone has a story about how they learned that.
That's a great question. I don't think I've ever heard that one. But, for me, it's very easy because I'm sitting on a stage with 14 amazing musicians, and all of them have a unique, incredible voice, and they all need to be heard as much as me. Of course, I always have to give myself at least one drum solo because that's why I have the band, so I can play a solo. No, only kidding. But you'd be like out of your mind to sit on a stage with a bunch of musicians and just be thinking about yourself. It's almost like having a conversation when you're not listening. You just want to talk and not listen. But I remember in the old days of the band too, just watching Ingrid, and I just because they're all like a really high profile, not Cohen, and then just sitting in the band and missing their entrances because they were just staring at everybody else playing and like so into it and so supportive and really happy. And they weren't thinking about themselves. They were thinking about this is amazing. Look what I get to do. It just seems natural to me. What about you guys?
I feel like, as musicians and artists, we spend so much time by ourselves in a practice room, honing our skills and craft, that if that were enough, we would never leave our house. But that's not enough. We need that connection with other humans, both the humans that we're playing with and the humans that we're performing for. Like it's not even the same if you just play in a room, if you're just rehearsing. Like there's a different energy when you are performing for other people and you're sharing that joy and making that connection. And once you get a feel for that, like there's no going back. That connection with other human beings, being a part of something bigger than yourself, and then feeling that energy back from the audience, it's amazing. It's such a gift.
The thing about not making it about yourself and having, everything be about the band and about the music, I think it's, for me, like I had somewhat of an idea of that, but actually I think that I have been really, really learning so much more about section playing and playing in a band because of Diva. I'm playing in a lot of bands right now with a lot of young people around my age, and I find that a lot of people around my age are so concerned about, the improvisation aspect and the soloing aspect, and everybody can blow, but when it comes to, and Sherrie and I were just talking about this this past weekend, but like a lot of college-aged people just only focus on the soloing, and then when it comes to big band, they feel like they're above it. They're too good to focus on that stuff. And it wasn't really until I got to Diva where I started having these moments where, I'm sitting in this section with like 3 of the best trumpet players I've ever played with. And, it's moments like when you have like those little hits, like in the tune, and you just so happen to like, you all line up perfectly with each other. It's like it's such a great feeling. It's such like a little rush that I get. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've never like felt that or heard that before. It's so, so cool to just be able to like sit in that and have this big collective sound. I don't know. Everybody's just so focused on the, oh, my solo's coming up. I better sound so good on this. And I'm just excited to be playing like 4th trumpet and like listen to these fat hits coming up with this section, And I think that's one of the most like beautiful things about the band is that every section is like that. It's just so great.
I'm talking with members of Diva Jazz Orchestra celebrating their 30th anniversary with a new record, Diva Jazz Orchestra 30. And now we're going to hear another track from that album, and then we'll be back with more conversation. This is Every Day I Have the Blues.
So I was introduced to jazz as a small child growing up in Queens, New York. But I grew up and life happened, and it happened, and it happened, and it happened. And I mean, the last 3 years of my life have been just like a mind blower. But it taught me something. It taught me how to sing some blues. So I'm about to get started, Sherrie. Follow me. Every day I have the blues. Every day I got the blues. If you see me worrying, daddy, you are hate to lose. Divas, don't nobody love me some hard luck and trouble, and you know I've had my share. I'm gonna pack my suitcase, move it on down the line. Pack my suitcase, move it on down the line. Ain't nobody worried and there ain't nobody crying. Every day I have the blues. I said that every day I have the blues. Speaking of hard luck and trouble, you I hate to lose, yeah. Nobody seems to care. I said nobody loves me. Nobody seems to care. Speaking of hard luck and trouble, you know I've had my share. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna pack my suitcase, move it on down the line. I'm packing my suitcase, move it on down the line. Ain't nobody worried, ain't nobody crying. 9-9 every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day, every day. Oh, 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 it's me worrying here for you. I've got the blues. Oh, oh, oh. Hey, oh, 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 yeah, oh, hey. Baby, you see me worrying for you. Diva!
Sue Giles!
Sherrie Maricle!
Sue Giles,
Thank
ladies and
you.
gentlemen.
Every Day I Have the Blues, Diva Jazz Orchestra, from their new record celebrating 30 years, Diva Jazz Orchestra 30. And now let's get back to my conversation with members of Diva Jazz Orchestra. This is Paradigms at paradigms.life. It must be just so wonderful to be the youngest person and have all this incredible learning going on, and that you're open to it. It's just beautiful.
I'd like to comment on that because Kellin stands to my left in the band, and it's been so refreshing having someone like Kellin next to me. Her ears are enormous. Her spirit, her persona is so open to receiving. I feel comfortable, if I need to reach over and point out, oh, that note, you could play it a little bit fatter, or make sure you cut this note off on 4. There's no attitude. She's incredibly receptive and a quick learner. It's been really, really enjoyed playing next to you, Kellin. I love it. I don't want to say if it's rare, but not all players are as open to and receptive to receiving any, not criticism, but just commentary or suggestions. Some guys just have such a big attitude. And so it's really refreshing having someone like Kellin next to me.
Yeah. Like these days with young people studying jazz, it is somewhat rare to have a person decide, I want to kick ass in this big band, which also those skills translate to Broadway and any show playing you might do, all kinds of stuff. It's not just a singular, let me learn how to be a great section player for big band. Jami, you play a lot of shows, doesn't it all similar skill set, right?
Yeah, definitely. But in Diva, you might be thinking about, I got to blow on this. I've got a solo on this, and I don't know if I remember the changes or whatever. But to me, the most important thing, because there are so many great soloists in the band, the section playing is the most important thing to me, and it being tight, I get the biggest thrill out of that. I'd rather just sit back in the section and listen to everyone else and concentrate on the section playing, because when that's tight, everything else you give such a great foundation to the soloists. That's just as important to me.
Absolutely. Ensemble playing is a skill set in and unto itself, and it is such a rush. I'm with Kellin. It's a rush when you hit those hits and they all feel the same, or when the lead trumpet player, everyone understands that we're listening across to the lead player in the section and back to the lead trumpet player who's dictating the style. And if we're all pulling back because she's pulling back, then that's where that quarter note hit's going to hit, and it's the same length, and it's fat, and it's beautiful. And that's as big of a rush as having the opportunity to stand up and speak your own voice in your own solo moment. So it's all important, and it's crucial to the big band sound. And Diva has that in spades. Ears. There are ears there, lots of ears.
Scheila, does that translate to the rock and pop stuff you do, like with the Zappa band and Colin Hay?
Colin Hay and the musicality, and it's a little bit different. It does in the sense of there are sections where the band is all working together, and if the time kind of sits back a little further or a little bit more on top, it does in that regard. It's different in that there are just individual instruments of the same kind, so you're not necessarily blending and balancing and tuning to a section of trombones or anything like that, but it is in certain ways.
Cool.
Yeah.
Part of why I love to emphasize this aspect is obviously as a metaphor for humanity. Like, we really need to all listen and learn to play together and honor what each other brings. And at this time in the world right now, I think a lot of people are getting that. And I think a lot of people aren't getting that who, in my personal opinion, need to get that. So I really appreciate how you're talking about this.
Baruch, that is so beautiful. I've been getting really emotional lately because of the state of the world, because of how things are. I'm always looking for the good. There's so much beauty in the world. Despite all the strife, especially now, and that has been for so long, and feels sometimes like it's getting worse. And I'm blessed to know a lot of beautiful people, a lot of wonderful musicians, and there's a lot of beauty in the world, a lot of good people in the world. But you sometimes have to work hard to find it. And it's important to lead with love and to just celebrate our differences, but look for how much we're alike. We're a lot more alike than we are different.
We'll be back with the final part of my conversation with Sherrie Maricle, Jennifer Krupa, Jami Dauber, Noriko Ueda, Scheila Gonzalez, and Kellin Hanas of Diva Jazz Orchestra. And here's another track from their new record, Diva Jazz Orchestra 30, Here's to Life.
Here I am on stage with Diva, and this is night number 3. And we'd like to dedicate this performance to the one and only Marlena Shaw. I've no complaints and no regrets. Still believing, chasing dreams, and placing bets. And I have learned that all you give is all that you get, so you give it all you got. I've had my share and drank my fill. And even though I'm satisfied, I'm hungry still to see what's down another road or around the hill, and do it all over again. So here's to life, and every joy it brings. Yes, here's to life, here's to life, here's to dreamers and their dreams. Ain't it funny how the time just flies, how love can go from warm hellos to sad goodbyes and leave you with the memories you better memorize, just to keep your winters warm. Oh, there is no yes in yesterday, and who knows what tomorrow brings or takes away. As long as I'm still in the game, I wanna play for laughs, for life, and for love. So here's to life, here's to life, and every joy it brings. Yes, here's to life, here's to life, here's to dreamers and all of their dreams. May all your storms be weathered, and everything good in your life, may it just keep getting better. Here's to life, here's to life, here's to everything that comes to us from above. You know that I believe in you, I believe in the things that you wanna do. Oh, here's to you, so never give up and never give in. I'm talking to myself and I'm talking to you, my friends. Oh, here's to life, here's to love. Carmen June, here's to you.
Here's to Life, Diva Jazz Orchestra. Now here's the final part of my conversation with 6 members of this wonderful jazz orchestra. How did this wonderful 30th anniversary gig play out? Like, how did that happen? And
We played every March at Dizzy since it opened. It's kind of our home steady gig once a year for 4 nights there. And I love recording there. I think this is our 3rd or 4th record we've done there live. It's one of the best rooms, definitely in the United States, if not in the world. And I love recording live. I know some of my bandmates do not as much as I do, because what Krupa was saying before, that energy exchange with the audience and your fellow musicians when you're in that moment of musical ecstasy, going to all these cool places that are you're not protected if you can cut yourself loose. I love that energy, even if the music isn't like quantized perfection, which I think is inhuman anyway. I just think I like I call it hair and grease and grit mixed with other stuff just into the sound. I love that. So that's why I wanted to do it live. And we probably had enough material recorded for a double CD, but I just, time got away from us in my time frame that I wanted it to put it out. So we ended up with this single disc of, some of our favorite music.
And one of the things I love besides the music is at the end of each piece, you call out who the soloists were. And I really appreciate that. It's obvious, we were just talking about the groupness, but also honoring the individual. And I really love that you do that.
It makes me laugh. I could see like some leaders don't often do that or acknowledge their bandmates, or even the people that don't have a solo in the set, but even the section people. It's very, very strange to me not to do that.
Well, because each voice is distinct and it's nice to know who it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Bert, too, I'll point out that we included a vocalist on this recording because backing up vocalist has been a really important part of our history, from Joe Williams, quite literally at Lake Tahoe, to Nancy Wilson, Jack Jones, Ann Hampton Calloway, Dee Dee Bridgewater, just a slew of great vocalists, Nina Freelon, so many great players. And I thought that would be very remiss not to include some of this music. This is where we did our Ella Fitzgerald medley that Tommy Newsom wrote because I wanted to honor him and his contributions to the book, but we never recorded that with a vocalist before. So that's kind of a revamped version. But
it was really wonderful to listen to. And it made me think of, there's a song I want you all to play, which is Them Their Eyes.
Yeah, we have a great chart on that.
It's one of my favorite Billie Holiday songs. It's up, but it's got an edge. And I love the music of it. And so I thought, I want to hear these women playing that.
Ours is originally a baritone saxophone feature, which was arranged by Scott Whitfield. But the interesting story, one time we were in Europe on tour with Diane Shore, and her music, I think Jamie will correct me, but we were in Austria, and it was a Sunday, and they wouldn't let her music out of customs. For some reason, they were there, but they wouldn't open the gate for her music. It was insane. So anyway, she ended up singing on some of our charts, because her ear is amazing, and she sang that chart. I wish there was a recording of it.
This record is out. It's just beautiful. I hope people listen to it. It's got a lot of different flavors and colors in it. There's that wonderful Ella tribute, but then there's other stuff. It's just got really fun music. What's next for Diva Jazz Orchestra?
Working hard to keep working. Yeah, we're partnering with a new agency, Ed Keenan Associates, who was the management team for the Manhattan Transfer. It's how we ended up on tour with them. We're going to do a project. It was going to be this year, but it got postponed, with Melissa Manchester and Ann Hampton Calloway. Producers approach us to do this project. So that's a big one I know is coming up. That'll be a large scale. It will probably start putting some little tidbits out there about it in the near future. But I know that's happening. And we'll probably, I don't know, I was saying to some people the other night, I was saying, hey, should we do a Christmas recording? I don't know. Then we can do, it's kind of carte blanche, whatever we think of. Sometimes the band members come to me and ask a question, hey, can we do this? Can we do that? Did you ever think about this? And I mean, I like to get ideas and inspiration from everywhere. Like all the members of Diva, particularly the ones from the 30th anniversary recording, I encourage all of your listeners to check out every single person individually has their own projects, their own great stellar careers, are involved in all sorts of incredible music. And I'm grateful that everybody spends some of their time with me, but they're all stellar artists. So everyone check out everybody.
Sherrie is the best band leader. She's grown into that position over the years, and what she's done with this band is incredible. I mean, when Stanley was around, he had his New York connections, and he helped get the band off the ground and start working a lot. But Sherrie has taken the reins and just done such a fantastic job with this band, booking the band, not only just leading the band, booking the band, coming up with the music, the ideas, putting together the personnel. She does it all, and I'm in awe of her. We wouldn't be here without Sherrie.
Truth, here.
And not just the music aspect, but keeping the humanity, like showing her thankfulness and gratitude to everyone and supporting everyone. Like, I remember my recital from college that Jamie and Sherrie and Stanley came to it. I was like, what? These are people that I'm like so excited that they'll hire me and they'll call me to play. And they're like taking time out of their busy schedules to come and support me on my recital. And not just that, just everything, just looking out for everyone, supporting everyone in their endeavors, and at the same time challenging everyone to reach for the sky. Sorry, I feel like I watched Toy Story with my kids recently. So, just supporting everyone and challenging everyone to reach for their dreams and to achieve anything that they set their mind to. I'm just so grateful for all of you to be in my life, but for your support, Sherrie.
Oh, and everybody should come see us March 2024 at Dizzy's. This year's show is called Get Happy with the Diva Jazz Orchestra, March 21st through 24th.
Well, I just want to thank all of you for coming on the show and talking with me, and for the wonderful music that you're putting out. And, this music, the big band music, it's part of the musical heritage of the United States, but of humanity, of the world. This music has been around for a while now. and having it be so vibrant and alive and new is really exciting. You know, this is, people think, oh, big band, yeah, the 1940s. No, this is alive right now. And so I'm just appreciating what all of you put out. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, for coming.
Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Baruch.
Sherrie Maricle, Jennifer Krupa, Jami Dauber, Noriko Ueda, Scheila Gonzalez, Kellin Hanas, thank you so much for talking with me on Paradigms, for sharing some of what it's like to be in Diva Jazz Orchestra. This 30th anniversary record, Diva Jazz Orchestra 30, recorded live at Dizzy's Club, really worth listening to. I hope people will listen to the whole thing. If you'd like to know more, the website is divajazz.com, divajazz.com. Check them out. And if you go to the Paradigms website, paradigms.life, you'll find links to information about each of the women in this episode of Paradigms. I hope you'll check them out. They're all fantastic musicians, and Diva Jazz Orchestra is making beautiful music. And talk about the spirit of collaboration. So thank you so much for being on the show. And while you're at the Paradigms website, scroll on down and click on the link for The Prophet, my new audiobook that I recorded with Starhawk. It's Khalil Gibran's The Prophet, celebrating its 100th birthday. Or just go to theprophet.life. I hope you'll avail yourself of this timeless wisdom. All right, well, we are going to close out the episode with one final track from Diva Jazz Orchestra 30. This one is called Airmail Special, and we're going to let the word for the week be collaboration. That's been one of our words before, but when you have an orchestra made up of so many people working well together, you just have to celebrate collaboration. And notice collaboration in your own life. Where do you work with people, and how does it work? What are the things that you've learned that allow you to work effectively with other people? We all have opportunities to be in collaboration with others. Let's just notice that and do it. All right, Baruch signing off for this episode of Paradigms. We'll be back next time with more inspiring people. In the meantime, let us work well with others. Let us collaborate with others on making the world a better place for everyone. And be well.
Noriko Ueda playing the bass. Erica Von Kleist on the soprano saxophone. Kellin Hanas on the trumpet. Lisa Whitaker on lead trumpet, everybody. Sue Giles, the one and only Sue Giles. Thank you. And I'm Sherrie Maricle, and we're the Diva Jazz Orchestra. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Disney's Club.
You've been listening to Paradigms at paradigms.life.